My name's Chrissy. I'm a stay-at-home mom to 2 little boys, and I managed to read 3 books this January. I used to love reading books, but after becoming a mom, it was so difficult to spend the time reading. I would spend so much time just reading the same pages over and over again. I wasn't retaining anything. It wasn't bringing me joy. It was just another thing that made me feel like I was failing. But it seems like this might be a season of my life where reading is coming back. So let me tell you about these books. The first book that I read was Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. This book is a slow burn. Not much really happens for the first huge chunk of the book, but I was so invested from the get-go. I loved the characters. I loved the setting. I loved what was going on, even though there weren't many twists and turns or even what is actually happening in the story until the end. With all of these books, I was able to get the audiobook on Libby and the book from the library, so I was able to jump back and forth between the audiobook and the reading, and I really, really enjoyed that. The next book I read was The Family Experiment by John Mars. If you are a Black Mirror fan, you will enjoy this book. It's very dark future. Things that are kind of sci-fi and out there, but actually could happen. There are lots of trigger warnings for this book. I didn't find any of them to be triggering for me, but definitely something for you to look into, especially since there's kids involved in this book. I really enjoyed it and give it about 4 stars. And then the most recent book that I read this month was The Business Trip by Jessie Garcia. This book hooked me immediately. I was in it from the first chapter, on the edge of my seat, heart pounding. I read this book over the course of a weekend. I could not put it down. Now, I felt like a lot of the twists were pretty predictable, but it was still super engaging. I was in it with the characters. Definitely recommend reading this book. And then the audiobook that I just started on Liberty is The Favorites by Layne Fargo. I am just getting started with it, but I am really interested already. It's about competitive figure skaters, and if you're like me, when you grew up, you are all about the figure skating. And with the Winter Olympics right around the corner, this is great timing for it. And let me tell you, I almost jumped out of my seat when they listed Johnny Weir as one of the voice actors. I'm literally only 2 or 3% in, but I am totally invested in the story, and I can't wait to see where it goes. Let me know in the comments what you're reading this January and what you think I should add to my TBR.